Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there lived a wealthy man who had everything one could desire. One evening, he was invited to a banquet in the king's palace and happily accepted the invitation. The banquet was a grand affair with delicious food and fine wine. The wealthy man ate and drank to his heart's content. After a while, he excused himself and went to the restroom. As he was in a hurry, he accidentally forgot his old, worn-out shoes under the table. The servants who were cleaning the room saw the shoes and started laughing. "Why would a rich man like him still wear such shabby shoes?" they said. The wealthy man heard their laughter and calmly replied, "These shoes carried me through years of hard work when I was poor. They remind me where I came from. If I throw them away, just because I have new ones, I might forget the path that brought me here." The servants fell silent. They realized that true wealth was not just about having new and expensive things, but also about remembering the value of old lessons. From that day on, the servants treated the wealthy man with even more respect. And the wealthy man continued to live a humble and grateful life, always remembering the journey that brought him success. This story is an example of how important it is to be grateful for what we have and where we come from. No matter how successful we become, we should never forget the struggles we faced or the people who helped us along the way. It's easy to forget our roots when we start making money. We might think that we read better than everyone else, or that we do and need the people who helped us when we were poor. But the truth is, our past makes us who we are today. And if we're not grateful for our past, we're not really grateful for our lives. The wealthy man in this story could have easily dismissed the servants' comments and forgotten about them. But instead, he took the opportunity to teach them a valuable lesson about humility and gratitude. He didn't just have the right answer, he was calm and respectful. Even though he was the one who was being laughed at, he didn't get angry or defensive. Instead, he showed the servants that true wealth is not just about having money, but also about having a grateful heart. So the next time you're feeling ungrateful or unappreciated, remember the story of the wealthy man and his shoes. And remember that no matter how successful you become, it's important to stay humble and grateful for everything you have. Once upon a time, there was a young man who lived in a house with his father. He wanted to go to the roof to fix a leak, but he couldn't find a ladder. So he went out into the yard to look for one. He found an old ladder, but the first few steps were cracked and broken. Thinking that it would take too long to repair them, he decided to climb up quickly. But halfway up, one of the broken steps snapped beneath his foot, and he nearly fell. Frightened, he rushed back down the ladder to safety and angrily complained, "This ladder is useless. It can't even help me to reach the roof." An old neighbor who had been watching from his porch shook his head and said, "The ladder is not useless." "You are wrong. The ladder is not useless. You've just ignored its broken steps. No. If you fix what is weak, the ladder will carry you safely to the top." The young man thought about his neighbor's words. He realized that he had been too impatient to fix the ladder. He should have taken the time to make it safe before trying to climb it. So he went back to the ladder and carefully fixed each step one by one. After he had repaired all the steps, he climbed up the ladder to the roof. This time he felt much safer because he knew that he had fixed the broken steps. He was able to successfully fix the leak in the roof. When he came down the ladder, he thanked his neighbor and said, "You were right. I shouldn't have tried to rush the job. Should have taken the time to do it properly." The old man smiled and said, "Sometimes it is better to go slowly and fix what is weak than to rush ahead and risk falling. If you want to climb high, you must start with a strong foundation." The young man learned a valuable lesson that day. He realized that it was important to fix the small things in life and not just focus on the big goals. He understood that if he wanted to achieve great things, he had to start with a solid foundation. Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there was a cook who had a brand new knife. It was a very sharp knife, and he was so proud of it, he would use it for everything. He'd use it to cut the meat and chop wood and even open cans. At first, the knife worked very well, but soon its blade became dull and chipped. And when the cook tried to slice some vegetables, the knife could no longer cut cleanly. It would just slip and slide on the vegetables, and the cook became so frustrated that he shouted, "This knife is useless." Now, an old and wise cook was nearby and heard what the young cook had said. So he walked over and put a hand on the young cook's shoulder. "My young friend," he said, "the knife is not useless. We're simply using it the wrong way. Every tool has its purpose, and if you respect its purpose, it will serve you well for a long time. But if you misuse it, even the best tool will break. The young cook was confused. "What do you mean?" he asked. The old cook explained. "You bought this knife because its purpose was to cut, right? So use it only for cutting. For other things, there are other tools. You see, this knife is meant to cut soft things like vegetables and meat. It's not meant to hack and chop hard things like wood. For that, you need an axe. And for opening cans, you need a can opener." Each tool has its own purpose, and if you use them for what they were made for, they will last a long time. But if you don't, they will break, no matter how sharp or strong they are. The young cook understood what the old cook meant. From that day on, he took better care of all his tools. He used the axe for wood and the can opener for cans, and the knife for cutting vegetables and meat, and everything went smoothly. He even began to enjoy his work again, because he was using each tool for what it was meant for. So the story of the cook and the knife teaches us that we should respect the purpose of things, whether they are tools or people. Every person is created for a purpose. We all have our own unique gifts and talents that make us special. And when we are placed where we fit best, we shine. But when we are misused, even our greatest strengths can be wasted. So it's important to understand our purpose and to respect the purposes of others. When we do, we can all work together and accomplish great things.